Hello, Monarch fans. Welcome to the Hudson Homers podcast. We went 3-1 this week. We won a road series.
Yo,
I'm feeling
we
good. Steve.
won.
How are you?
It's pretty good. It could have been 4-0 easily.
Yes, it was very close on Saturday of making that a
Yeah.
nice clean sweep of Georgia Southern. But 3-1 week, the first winning week we've had since we just had the Charlotte series earlier this year. Won 4 of the last 5. Something starting to click, I think, at least with the
That's
offense for
think
sure.
things are moving in the right direction. Yeah, I mean, pitching's still up and down sometimes, but there was and some of the offense was really just taking advantage of the other team making mistakes, which we've had some games where other teams have not made mistakes at all for like an entire weekend. Then we had some other ones where they made some mistakes and we just don't take advantage. So it was nice to see us, you know, like the Tuesday game, Norfolk State was just walking everybody in the world and throwing the ball around. And then this weekend, Georgia State was just Georgia Southern just kicking the ball around. And we actually were taking extra base. We had complete disrespect for their arms in the outfield. It was hilarious to watch our guys. Like the second hit of the outfield, it's like, I'm taking 2 bases on this guy.
I mean, running on him when the ball's in the outfield,
Yeah.
stealing bases, taking good pitches, working walks. Like we look like a very competent and professional lineup. And we punished them when they made errors.
Yeah.
I think what was a little bit surprising for me is I think Saturday Georgia Southern ended up with 4 errors, and that was the game we lost
Hmm.
by 1 run. But
Right.
it's nice to be on the other side of taking advantage of
Yeah.
people's opportunities. I know we've been snake bitten quite a bit with errors and walking too many guys, hitting too many guys. Nice to see them be in the wearing the other shoe for a change.
Yeah, I mean, we still did that a little bit this whole week. I mean, like the Norfolk State win was a very ugly win. We scored a bunch of runs just off of them walking people, and we couldn't quite. We still had some moments this weekend we couldn't quite get runs through. But man, that game yesterday on Sunday, Finney said a few times we're not built to come from behind. So when you get down, you're down 5-0 after 3, and it's just like you're feeling like, okay, well, this is probably going to be what it is. This is because realistically, the team has not shown that kind of fight. So when they come back, score 5 runs, so we're tied 5-5, bottom 6, then we give up a run. Okay, that happens. All right, we're just 6-5, we're fine. But then we give up 4 more in the 7th, and it's like, okay, now we're down by 5 runs again, and just crazy 10-run eighth inning. I mean, we haven't scored 10 runs, and like we've had 2 or 3 games in a row where we haven't combined that many runs.
Yeah, to put up that many in one inning.
Yeah.
Do we even have 10 in the series before Troy? Like
Right?
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, we
Uh,
definitely had a few like 2-3 game stretches where we didn't score 10 runs.
Yeah, and they started off the series right by winning on Friday
Hmm.
because that has been the biggest problem. We've been non-competitive on Friday games for most of
Right.
the season, except for Georgia State when they came down. We won that game, but to see this team put up runs like that on Friday and get that win after how we saw them play on Friday against Troy, I mean that's a massive night and day difference. And it just seems like guys have kind of ratcheted up that compete factor a little bit, especially to overcome 2 5-run deficits in one game. And it had to kind of mentally mess with them a little bit because we'll say it's the worst performance for Blake so far this season. It really wasn't that terrible of a performance, but you're probably expecting him to make it through 5, if not 6.
Yeah.
So the game kind of got turned on its head in terms of scripting and the way we've seen those Sundays play out. And they rose to the occasion, put up a 15 burger on Georgia Southern to get away.
Crazy. Even had Rob McCowiak's kid in there getting touched up. That was a fun little moment for all my early 2000s Pirates fans.
Yes. There were, I tell you what, Finney emptied the bench pretty good on Sunday. I was
Yeah,
at one point, and Bo reached out to me on Twitter and was asking me, like, how many other guys do we have left on the bench? And I think a
I
couple,
think it
but I
was
don't know who traveled.
Shadell and Jones typically. Yeah, again, we're not always sure who travels, but I mean, because we know Shadell played in the other game, so we know he was
Mhm.
there, and I'm assuming Bryce Jones was there. He didn't get in. Yeah, just unfortunately hadn't gotten in a ton this year. I don't know that there was anybody else left out in the bullpen to call on by the end of the day Sunday, because you had Bailey and Kellen had both come back for the second time that weekend.
Yeah. And Bailey, I mean, putting the bow
Schumann
on 2.
pitched twice this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, we emptied the tank. I think this is the
Yeah,
first, at least conference series, that we have not had a starter get through more than 5 innings.
yeah.
Ben was 5,
Which,
Dylan was 5, and Blake was 4 and a third. I believe
yeah,
that's the first time that's happened.
ironically, only the second time all year Ben has gone 5. So there was actually a huge plus for him that he pitched one of his better starts of the whole season. But yeah, and weirdly in a weekend where then Dylan only got 5 when he's been good for 6 and sometimes 7, and then Blake who's been good for 6 and sometimes 7, both got 5 and less.
Yeah, so a little extra test for the bullpen. I think some guys pass. Maybe some guys still have some work to do. I don't know if we're in a situation where we give up 10 runs and I feel super confident about the pitching staff, but they got outs when it mattered. They avoided too many big meltdown innings, and they responded really well after we put up the 10 spot. I mean, Bailey Matella, that dude was nails for us this weekend.
Yeah, he struggled a bit in the game on Friday, but he still got the save. He did just enough to keep them. I talked to Kellen about that. We were coming back from the series down there in Southern Miss. I said, hey, sometimes all you gotta do is get the if you need 3 outs, get 3 outs before you give up whatever number of runs. And that's kind of what Bailey did on Friday. And then yesterday, I mean, he just looked like prime time Bailey when he is dominant and nasty, and the other teams just go back to dugout like, well, I got no hope. So that was, and Kellen had a huge inning in that game too, which he had a couple of, he pitched on Saturday and Tuesday, and neither one of them very well, honestly. And then he came out in the what was it, the 6th inning, 7th inning in on Sunday and was outstanding.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of almost back to his role that he had last year, where he was kind of the stopper a lot of times to come in
Yeah.
that 5th, 6th inning and bridge to the rest of the arms in the bullpen. I was going to save talking too much about the ending on Friday until Coach Finwood joins us. He should be hopping on here in the next couple of minutes. That was a wild ending. I didn't see it live, but I was getting the text lives, and I went back and watched it, and whew, we got out of there. We got it done in the way we needed to get it done. Error, tag out at second, ball game. Interesting weekend to say the least in some of those games.
Yeah, and again, that's sometimes what you got to do is sometimes you got to get lucky. Sometimes, and that's realistically that's one of the things I think you could probably go back and look at our season and say the luck has just not been on our side. Like we really have not. I don't think obviously say luck isn't a skill. That's one of those things like the sabermetric guys will say you can't account for it, but it exists. It's a thing. And we have not had it. It seems like every play that could go against us has gone against us. Every call that could go against us goes against us. And this weekend, that just kind of wasn't the case. This weekend, it was like the things that were going to go wrong were going wrong for us in the right way. So it was interesting.
Hey, if we can save all of our quote unquote luck for
Yeah.
late in the regular season into the tournament, we'll take that. But we were already in a hole to begin with schedule. I mean, we know the non-conference schedule was crazy. We knew that going in. But if you go look at the Sun Belt standings right now, you've got Coastal in first. We've got them coming up. Troy, Southern Miss, App State, Georgia State, Louisiana, Georgia Southern. That's the top half of the league right now.
Yeah.
And we've either played them or will be playing them very soon. We get, I guess, a little bit of reprieve with Marshall, ULM, and JMU, but I don't think you're going to expect to just be like, oh, those are easy sweeps.
Right. Yeah.
It just doesn't work that way.
It's a plus that we get to play 3 of the bottom 4 teams coming up here after we pay was it ULL? I don't know what we're supposed to call Louisiana, but they're I don't want to upset them on Twitter. But let me tell you, when you try to Google Louisiana baseball, they don't come up, so I have to go ULL. But it's nice, like you said, they're not going to be pushovers. It's still conference games, but you hope that maybe you have a little better shot, especially on some of those road. When you go to the road to James Madison, you're hoping, which again, going to the road to James Madison, man, that's in state. That's going to be in state in conference. That's a tough one.
And they're struggling this year. 12-24 overall. They're 5-10 in the conference. But they're going to be up for the series against us, just like we would be up for the series against them. And ULM, yes, they did upset the Cajun fan base there with the social media message of sending them home with another L. So I guess that's kind of a thing because ULM is ULM no matter what, and Louisiana is formerly Louisiana Lafayette, whatever. I don't care.
I guess
I'm going to call them the Cajuns and hope we get 2 out of 3 from them coming up here.
Even soon. Raising Cajuns, I got to be honest, everything about them is not very original. It's the Raising Cajuns. It's like, isn't that everything in Louisiana? Like, I'm sorry, they're not. Yeah, they're good. But they're having a tough year. They're typically a really good team. I think Chase Morgan is still having a really phenomenal year, and then the rest of the team just seems like they're struggling. I mean, when you lose that kid Kyle DeBarge, he was a 1st round pick, and he was phenomenal. I saw he's playing really well for the Twins minor league team. So they're coming in this weekend here at Harbor Park, and again, conference game, I'm sure, and they're right there records, only one game better than we are, but they're not quite the same team you thought they were going to be at the start of the year.
And they've had some injuries, and I think they're starting to get
Mm.
some guys back from injury. But I mean, at this point in the season, it's kind of tough to get guys ramped up and back into game
Yeah,
speed with any kind of regularity. But yeah, I mean, DeBarge, they had a couple other guys that are really good that aren't
yeah,
with the team anymore. Like they're going to be a challenge, and it's the Sun Belt. Weird stuff will happen, but kind of go back to like, how do you just get to 500 in the conference? Because if you get to
hmm
500, you're going to make the tournament. You're good. So if you lose a series at home, you got to go win one on the road, and they did that this week against Georgia Southern. So they're kind of evened out the ledger a little bit. They're 7-8 halfway through conference play. I'll take 7-8 in conference play with the way we've looked this season. Like that, we're not in the worst position going down the stretch.
Yeah, I'll take 7 and 8 today. I mean, it's not where he felt like it was going to be probably a few weeks ago, even. So it's yeah, but I'm greedy. I want to just be 500. I want to be in the top six. Being those bottom four, we're going to play the single game elimination that first night. I know we won it last year, but that's tough. That's a rough bid to go all the way down there and get one game and maybe have to go home.
Yeah, it's very tough for travel planning purposes. So
Yeah.
I'm keeping an eye on like this series and the next series and
Mm.
looking at the hotels and flights and all that fun stuff. Because if I couldn't go on the fun Southern tour like you did, I at least want to get down
Yeah.
there for some of these
No,
conference tournaments games.
I spent all my money earlier in the year, so you could do that one for me.
And I left a chunk of change in Florida too at the
Yeah.
Steinbrenner Field. So, well, I'm looking down here and I see that Coach Finwood has joined
Oh,
us. We'll bring him on in a
let's
second.
go.
But fans, do want to let you know Evan Holman is our player guest who will be coming
Mhm.
on later in the episode. So we've got a pretty fun one, but let's bring on the man himself, Mr. Chris Finwood.
Hey,
Bang.
bang, bang, bang.
This edition of Hudson Homers is brought to you by Bang Energy Drink. They just got me an NIL deal at the Wawa. Buy one, get one. Working on about 3 hours of sleep today, so
There we
much
go.
needed.
Well, hey, maybe you can hold out for 4 million cans of them like the quarterback from
Yeah.
Tennessee.
There you go, and a Bugatti. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
good.
right.
So how you guys doing?
Great, man.
Hey.
How you feeling? Nice little series win down there.
Yeah, well, 10 in the 8th usually cures whatever's ailing you, right?
Covers up a lot of problems, doesn't it?
As soon as you think you've seen it all in college baseball, you realize you haven't. And to be down 5 twice in that game, and the guys be able to keep fighting back, and I don't know if we got maybe 5 straight hits with 2 outs or something like that in that inning. Something crazy, including the grand slam. So, and then TJ, I think made the last out on a ball. The guy had his butt against the fence. And the ball, the field wasn't playing particularly small yesterday. There wasn't much wind to speak of. So, it was, our best performance of the year. The inning kind of reminded me of the one we had at Auburn early in the year, in that comeback win. So, which was more than 5, but to be able to go up by 5, knowing we were running thin on pitching and, really not pitching very well at all up to that point. And we had, one more bullet to fire in Bailey, and we were hoping to not have to use him till the 9th, but when we got the lead, we were like, all right, man, he's just going to be running off fumes in the 9th if he can get through the 8th. And of course, it wasn't super clean. I think he walked 3 and hit 2 in 2 innings, but he didn't give up a hit. And that's life in the closer world, right?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter. You don't get any style points. Like, you just get it done. It's all about the bottom line. So,
I was sitting there in my house and I said, Bailey, just get 6 outs before you give up 5 runs. That's all we got to do.
That's all that matters. Yeah.
I don't care if we win by 1. That's fine. Just do the job.
Just like Friday we're up by 3, and he gives up 2, but we won by 1, so that's all that matters.
There you go.
And so our first winning week of the season, to go 3-1. And all on the road, of course. But so proud of the guys. And, the game we lost was a 5-4 good ball game, and we won a close one on Friday. Didn't play particularly well, but we had a bunch of big hits, and then Saturday we didn't get any big hits really. And Sunday started out that way. You know, we got first and third, no outs in the first and don't score. And, you know, that's been kind of the broken record of this team this year, is just not taking advantage of those types of opportunities. And then they did a good job. They got to Blake a little bit. That was probably as hard as Blake's been hit, that I can remember this year. They did a good job staying on, his changeup with 2 strikes and things like that. So, got up 5-0, and then we tied it up, and then then they made it, 10-5, and then we played everybody but Wood Seelig texted me and said, "Were you guys playing a catcher in left field at the end of that game?" I go, "Yep, we sure are. It was one of those games." And we had to, because we only had one more player left on the bench. That was Tanner Shadle. And if something would have happened to Holman, we'd already put him in for Slater. If we took, Morales out of the game, we wouldn't have had a catcher available. And so he's played some left field in some practices and scrimmages. He takes fly balls out there just in case. So we put him out there. And, I told him after he pitched hit, you're going to have to play left for at least an inning. And, he ended up playing it for 2. So he didn't have any plays, but he's fine. He can catch the balls, the routine plays. And he's a baseball player. So, but Evan Holman, who you got as a guest, was obviously the hero. I mean, comes off the bench and hits a double right-handed down the line. Then it hits a double left-handed off the wall, and then a grand slam right-handed. And, we all think Evan's a better right-handed hitter than left, and certainly got more power right-handed. Obviously, they didn't have that because, they brought in the lefty to face him his second time, and he was able to hit the home run. And boy, we needed it. That was big because, 5's way better than 1 being up on the road. When you're running low on, when the tank's running low.
That's some expert coaching. That's from all your many years of doing it. The 5 is better than 1.
That's right. 5's better than 1. So we dialed up that grand slam right there. And Ebbs, like a lot of our guys, hasn't gotten off to a great start swinging the bat, but starting to swing a little bit better. And, the warm weather certainly helps. And some guys came off the bench in addition to him. Tyler Zadalis had a big home run to tie the game up earlier in the game. So, yeah, it was definitely the epitome of a total team effort, because just about everybody played, and that's sometimes what it takes.
Evan came into the week. He had, I think, a homer and a double, and then he hit the double at Norfolk State. So he ended up with 3 doubles and a homer on the week.
Yeah.
After only a double and a homer before that. So great week for him.
Yeah. That's baseball, right? And right guy in the right spot. And Ev's a great kid. He works hard, and it's nice to see him get rewarded with a day like that. And we needed it. I mean, there's a big difference between 7 and 8 and 6 and 9. That's for sure. And even though it's one game, it feels like a lot more. And in the standings, it actually is. Instead of one game below 500, you'd have been 3. And I think, with everything jumbled up, there's so many teams at 8 and 7 and 7 and 8, and even 9 and 6. So, we're halfway through, and we've got 3 of the last 5 series at home, quote unquote. And, we won't be traveling as much this last, 5 weeks, and that'll be nice for the guys. I think they've certainly earned that. So hopefully we can get rested up a little bit and get ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, you're 7 and 8, but you're 2 games out of the 4 spot and 3 games out of 3rd. Like, that's just how tight it is. And you're right, that 7-8's big, because if you're 6 and 9, you're actually in 11th and not in this 4-way tie. You talked about it, I think, last week of, there've been a lot of sweeps in the Sun Belt this year, but we haven't been on the wrong end of one yet. So like getting that one extra game here, one extra game there has been huge. And then the schedule difficulty, man. I mean, Coastal, Troy, Southern, App, Georgia State, Louisiana, Georgia Southern. That's the top 7 you got them this year.
Yeah. We didn't get any breaks on the schedule makers, that's for sure.
No.
But after this weekend, we'll have played all of them except Coastal. And so we'll have, not that any of them are easy by any stretch, but we'll have some teams maybe that have potential to be below us in the standings coming up, and you never know how that can work out. So you just got to go play better. It's funny, we've played pretty well down at Georgia Southern. That's we've been down there. Well, we've played well against them. We've won all 3 of our regular season series against them. And 2 of them down there. So, I don't know what the dynamics of how you play better against some teams than others are, but they seem to be one of the teams that we play, fairly well against overall.
Which that's fascinating because, after 3 years, it's not at all the same players, and coaches are different, styles are different. It is interesting how, just sometimes throughout the years, you just have certain programs that you play better against.
Yeah, it's a crazy phenomenon. I was telling Mike Marin and I were talking about it back in the old Sun Belt days when I was at Western Kentucky. We never lost to FIU, Florida International. Home, away, we could have played them on Mars. We always beat them, and we swept them a lot. We couldn't beat FAU, Florida Atlantic, same thing in reverse, until we got here and actually, had some of our better teams. And then 19, 21, 22, we beat FAU and FIU. But it was just strange. I mean, how that works out like that, so I can't explain it, but some guys play. Some teams you just seem to play better against. Maybe it's a style of play thing sometimes, but like you said, there's different players over the years as well. So they're doing it's such a great place to play, like college baseball wise. The weather's always good for one. The facility's phenomenal. They have the best surface. It's all natural. Their grounds guy is incredible. They have the best surface in the league, bar none. There's not even a close second, I don't think. The guy does an amazing job. It plays great. It looks great. And they're doing that $10 million, renovation down the left field line. It's going to be really, really cool when they get that done. So they're going through a little bit much smaller version of what we are. They had to move out of their locker room and switch dugouts and do some things like that. They're still able to play and practice there, certainly, obviously, and have games. But that made that 9.5-hour bus ride home a little bit more bearable.
I figured you guys were flying on that one.
It's so hard to get there. By the time you fly and drive to the airport and do all that, you're really not saving that much time.
Yeah, because
of course that was a 4.5-hour game, to top it off. So we didn't get done with it. We didn't get out of there until 6:30. It was a 1:00 game. We thought we were going to be on the road by 5. So
a lot of long games this whole week.
Yeah, I know. I'm not a big fan of those. But
gotta get that pitch clock going a little faster.
I would like that, throw more strikes and get the ball in play and let's go. So
but when you walk everybody and change pitchers.
The week started with with a win at Norfolk State and kind of a little bit of a sloppy game. They walked a bunch of guys and we had a couple of big hits, but we were able to kind of play some guys that hadn't played a ton and throw some guys that haven't thrown a bunch and come away with a win there. And
Jace did a good job starting that game.
Jace did a good job. He's going to get to start again tomorrow against VCU, and we need him to step up. We need another guy or two to step up for us. Especially showing they can help us on the weekend. And so I tell them all the time. Those midweek games are some of you guys' opportunities to do that. How you throw it there, let's just have a feel for what you might be able to do on the weekend.
And we saw that you gave Connor Schumann some chances on the weekend after he hadn't pitched much at all, but he got the Tuesday. Looked
Yeah,
real. I was behind the plate when he was pitching Tuesday. It looked phenomenal.
yeah,
Did a good job for you Saturday, and then had some
yeah.
struggles on Sunday.
Well, he did, and you don't know what you don't know. Can he bounce back
Yeah.
a day after?
Mm-hmm.
And to be fair to him, though, he got a routine ground ball to second that we
Right.
made an error on to open up that inning, and then he threw a pickoff that wasn't even in the same area code as first base. Like it must have missed first base by 25 feet. I don't know what was going on with that, but some of the things we do baffle me. But he gets, you never know. We make that play, and it wasn't a hard play, and he's kind of cruising. But Shuey did a good job at Norfolk State. He did a really
Yeah.
good job on Saturday, like you said, and so it's another lefty that maybe we can use to flush some lefties out, in the course of a game when we don't want to use Bailey yet or something like that. And to Bailey's credit, I'll give him that, man. He was gassed yesterday, and the breaking ball was kind of backing up on him, and he flipped gears to fastball changeup.
Mm-hmm.
And after that first inning, he just pretty much eliminated the breaking ball and just flipped gears and fast change. And the last two pitches of the game, he struck the kid out with really good changeups. And so, credit to him. He's becoming much more of a pitcher and being able to kind of process his way through some of these things. Because the fact is, he's thrown twice for us a couple times on the weekend and done just as good a job the second time. That's not easy. You don't see that a lot in college baseball anymore. You used to. Your closer through, man, he might throw in all 3 games. Yeah. But you don't see it much anymore. And Bailey's been able to do it. Or if you do see it, that second time, they're crappy. Like they get the crap knocked out of them. And so Bailey's been able to do it in different ways. So that's been good to see.
Yeah, and I like him moving to fastball changeup too, because sometimes the reason they look crappy in that second outing is the guy's got a feel for what he's going to throw, and if they timed up the breaking ball, so almost basically bring in a different pitcher throwing different stuff can be a nice little change there too.
Yeah, and he was huffing and puffing out there, and I'm really proud of him because he wasn't a guy that could fight his way through not feeling good his first 2 years here. He would just start throwing the ball all over the place, and or down the middle, and now he's and some of this is just what experience does. You got to learn the lessons the hard way, and then you get better at it, hopefully, and that's what's happening with Bailey. He's had some good outings. He's gotten his butt whooped, and he's taken all of that and chalked it up and learned from it, and he's becoming a really, really valuable pitcher for us on this year's staff. Certainly, I'm really proud of him.
You saw that compete factor, I think, show up a good bit on Sunday too. Like you get punched in the mouth early, then you get kicked in the teeth later, and you still come back and put up 10 in the 8th. I still can't get over that. That's one of the craziest games I've seen.
Yeah, we had a game. CB will probably remember. I think it was 17. We were down 11-2 in the 8th against FIU on Senior Day. And we came back and took the lead, maybe scored 10 runs in the 8th. I think that was the last time that's happened. And end up hanging on, winning by 1 in that one, I think. That was at home, on Senior Day, a little bit different. And we had 2 seniors hit home runs in that inning, Nick Walker and Turner Bishop. I think Nick hit a grand slam, actually. But, to do it on the road, when it isn't looking good, and I was trying to remember even how that inning got going. I couldn't even tell you right now.
It's a blur.
What happened, but I know the first time when we tied it up, George and Zadalis hit home runs. But that next time, we just seemed to get there's some walks in there, obviously, which there always are, right? But we seemed to get a bunch of singles in there, 4 or 5, and then we hit the big home run. So,
walks by Waters and Zadalis, double by Holman, loads of bases, wild pitch brought in Waters, Aiken and Morales walked, so that's 10-7. Late gets a 2-run single to left. That's when Kanan hits the homer to tie the game at 10. Let's see, with the RBI single, it's Edwards, RBI single. Edwards stole second. Luke walks. That's when then Holman hits the grand slam. So I mean, it was just walks. Yeah, again, and Gary and I were kind of talking before you came in. This is one of the first weekends where it feels like we were really able to. It's not just we were able to capitalize on the team making mistakes, but the other team actually made mistakes. It feels like a lot of the year, the other team has not made mistakes, and even when they do, we don't get much out of it.
Yeah, and that was the disappointing thing about Saturday, man. They made 4 errors.
Yeah.
They played awful defensively. Like, their second baseman got hit in the foot more than his glove. And they took him out of the game finally. But we couldn't get a big hit. We had so many chances in the first 5 innings, and you only get so many, right? And we just couldn't cash them in. And then, they got a couple, and that's the game. And I was telling the guys, like, the chances aren't unlimited. Sometimes we got some guys that I think put a little bit too much pressure on themselves in those situations. You can't make yourself get a hit. You just have to zero in and try to hit the ball hard and make sure there's strikes. Kanan George's, issue is he's swinging at balls in those situations. That happened in the first inning. He's swinging a 3-1 slider in the other batter's box. And I said, if you just take a walk there, Kyle hit a deep fly ball, there's a run. That's where you got to be willing to let the guy walk you and let your teammate pick you up. These are all things I think that are experience, oriented to some extent. And it's just things that we got to keep, just keep playing. And as some of these guys are good players, and we got to keep working with them and helping them get better. And, but it's a lot of new guys that haven't played at this level. Even if they played in junior college, they haven't played at this level that much, or if at all. And there's a learning curve there. A lot of junior college. Paul Keyes used to always say you get one good year out of a JUCO hitter, man. It's either that first year and they sign because they're awesome, or they're learning that first year and they're okay up and down, and then their senior year they're awesome. And so, we got some guys going through a little bit of that. I think, Kanan George has got tremendous ability. He just has a bad approach some days, and he tries to, swing at everything between the dugouts. And but he's an awesome kid. He cares about it. He worries a little bit too much, but he's a great kid, and you're going to work with those guys and keep working with them because, he can hit it out there in the road when he gets it on the barrel,
I thought it was funny. I think all 3 days they had a different sideline reporter ask you questions.
Yeah.
And I think all 3 asked you about pitching, and all 3 times you're like, well, if we got a hit.
Yeah. I couldn't even hear 2 of them, so I just decided I'd talk about the hitting. They wanted to. The girl yesterday, I couldn't hear one word she said. I heard her say Blake Morgan, and then that was it. And Blake wasn't pitching very good, so I didn't want to talk about him. But I thought going back to pitching though, I thought Ben Moore had one of his better outings of the season. Reminded me a lot of the Georgia State outing at home a few weeks ago. He threw strikes. He held his velocity. He was still throwing 91 in the 5th. We really debated whether to send him out there for the 6th because he was doing well, but he was over 90 pitches, which has been a lot for him. We got a long way to go, and we're just like, some of these guys out of the bullpen have to be able to do that. I don't remember what the score was at the time, but we were up and he was pitching well. The difference for him was he was getting his changeup in play. He hadn't had that for probably the last 3 weeks, but he threw a number of changeups that were really good, kept them all balanced, and had the good fastball, and he was throwing strikes. And then I thought Hubble came in behind him and threw the ball real well, and probably should have left him out there for one more out as hindsight, I guess. But he's got to be able to get us through that 3rd inning. He's been throwing the ball much better out of the bullpen for us last month, so that's good to see. And Dylan was good on Saturday. He left up 3-1 after 5. his pitch count was unusually high for him.
Mm-hmm.
He sprayed the ball a little bit lately. He's missing more on his arm side high than he has the last 2 outings. So that's something he's got to work on this week to try to fix, because he's just wasting pitches. They're just non-competitive fastballs that are kind of up and out of the zone. They don't really do anything for you.
Yeah,
So.
it didn't seem as efficient as he was early in the season with his pitch count, which
I agree.
It kind of put you in an interesting position, because this is the first time, at least within conference play, that you haven't had a starter go more than 5 all weekend. So you add that with the taxing bullpen. I mean, you had to pull some interesting levers to get out of there with that series win.
Yeah, and we couldn't throw Baines on Friday. His hamstring was a little sore, and then, of course, he goes after the bunt and hurts it on Saturday. That's been a nemesis for him this year. But so he gave up a couple right there, but hopefully we'll get him back for this weekend. I told him, just don't try to field any more bunts. We'll just play the third baseman in. You just let him go, because it's always decelerating. Yeah. That's the third time this year that's happened on the same play. And it's just, hamstrings are crazy. Like, sometimes, I mean, they'll be feeling better. You do one thing and they snatch up on you, and that's what's happening with him. So, unfortunately,
trust me, fan, I'm old. I know that to be true.
Yeah, me too. Frankie Wright hasn't been good the last 2 weeks. He's got to get back going. I think he's got to move faster. He's back kind of moving slow, and he's got to get himself back going. And Davis has had a couple outings where the breaking ball's staying up. It's not quite as sharp. So some of those guys, and that's part of a season, right? Your bullpen guys are just like anybody else. Starters have some bad starts. Bullpen guys go through the ups and downs of it as well. And they've got to keep working through that. And I kind of wonder sometimes if some of those guys don't just need to get out there, for an inning during the week, just to try to stay sharp on those weekday games. It's different strokes, right? Like, Hubble's not wired that way. And we need some length out of him, out of the bullpen. So he's probably not a guy you would do that. And this week's going to be a different journey anyway, because we play on Thursday instead of Friday. Yeah. So you're a day short with all the pitching. And, maybe it could be a blessing that none of those guys went, more than 5. Because if you had a guy go 9 and then all of a sudden he's coming back on a day shorter, that's a little bit even tougher than normal. So
yeah, and really you almost lose 2 days, because you said you all left around 6 p.m. 9-hour drive. I wasn't a math major, but that's 3-4 in the morning. I mean, imagine we got some rehab, but that's about it.
I got to bed at like 4:15 this morning. So by the time we got home and got in bed and all of that, so we switched buses in beautiful Emporia, Virginia, at the truck stop at 1 in the morning. So
is that why you were getting one of their famous speed tickets on the bus too?
Yeah, I don't think they mess with the buses on there. But so we watched a little bit of the Masters, to get the trip started, and I was really happy to see McElroy win that thing, man. That's cool for him.
Nice for him.
He just seems like a good person. And when he missed that putt on 18 the first time, boy, I felt for him, because he pulled that thing. You could tell that was a little bit of nerves. But then when he stuck that one in there about 3 feet in the playoff, I was like, all right, he ain't gonna miss this thing again.
They had to keep it interesting. They had a little bit of daylight left, and the Masters, they like to do that trophy ceremony when it's basically dark there at Augusta. So
yeah. What happens if it gets dark? Has it ever happened where? Because I know if they tied again, they were going to 10. And then they go back again to 18, that kind of thing. Have they ever had a situation they have to have had where they had to go into the next day?
I don't know if it's happened at the Masters. I know it's happened for all the other majors. It probably happened, but it was a while ago. I know they started using earlier tee times for the guys. One, to hit a better TV window, but it'd be kind of anticlimactic to come back at like 9 a.m. on Monday morning to finish out the
Masters. That's true. That's a good point. Well, I heard you guys talking about the tournament and some of those things, and certainly that's, just making the tournament. But the last, 2 years, we've been in that play-in, and last year you could see how that catches up to you, right? Like, we won our first 2 games, but we were pitching with game 3 pitchers, where Georgia Southern was pitching game 2 pitchers, and it caught up to us right there a little bit.
And especially last year when we didn't have guys that went with any kind of depth, when we didn't really have starters.
Yeah. And so, but in fact, Dylan threw the ball good. He gave us, I don't know, 5 innings, I think, against Georgia Southern. We were just out of bullets in the bullpen at that point, just from those having that extra game, and they were close. The South Al game was close, but so yeah, you want to try to finish in that top 6 if you can, certainly, and man, that ain't easy. So
no.
We you got 3 of the last 5 at home, and obviously they're all big, and you can point to any of them and say this is a big weekend for us. But Louisiana's always one of the better teams in the league, and they got off to a little bit of a slow start. Looks like they're playing, pretty good now, and they have one of their better pitchers out earlier who's back now, and so it's all it's all a good challenge. And after VCU tomorrow night, we're back at Harbor Park. Looks like the weather's going to be great this week, and good week for some good college baseball. We hope people come out and watch us.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you something about the dugouts that you've chosen at both Harbor Park and War Memorial. Now, I know that the last few times we played at Harbor Park, you've chosen the third base dugout, which is traditionally the visitors' dugout. And I think part of that was it's just easier to get in and out of the stadium. I was curious, was there a reason why you chose the visitors' dugout at War Memorial?
It's our home dugout, what we're used to, at home when we play at home. So I think the game's always easier to manage in the third base dugout. You're not across the field from your team or your third base coach, and you're just closer to everything that needs to go on right there. So I prefer the third base dugout if ever given a choice. I'd always prefer third base. So that's
a simple,
the main
easy
reason.
answer.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, we got one call from Paula coming in, and it's talking about hitting and error scoring and official stats. So hopefully you're able to hear this one. If you're not, we will recap it for you when it's over. But this is Paula.
Hi, you guys. It's Paula Ambrose. I was calling to say, congratulations to the coach for his 400th win. Very exciting. And I think I've been here for most of them, or at them for most of them. Anyhow, I had a question about official scorekeeping. I notice sometimes as a fan you can't tell on the scoreboard. It looks like it was a hit when it was probably an error. And if the official score is kept by the team or by the home team, or does anyone ever check it? And of course, I'm sure you realize that I'm always taking this from a pitcher's perspective, so I'm usually pretty stingy on scoring a hit. Anyway, if you had any thoughts on that you could share, that would be great. Have a super day.
Thank you, Paula, first. So it sounded like her, and you can tell me if I'm incorrect, Gary. It sounded like her question was basically who is doing the scorekeeping, the home team, or is anybody checking on it? Was that more or less what was saying there, Gary?
Yeah, and then do you ever go back and review hits and errors that are scored? Because as she said, she is looking at the game from a pitcher's perspective and looking at those unearned and earned runs.
Yeah, since her husband was a pitcher at ODU, and a darn good one. Yes and no. We do. I'll look up there sometimes and go, man, they gave the guy an error on that, and I'll make a little note on or they gave the guy a hit on that. I'll make a little note on my sheet, and then sometimes we'll go back and ask our sports info people if it's egregious. Typically the scores are somebody in the sports information department. I know C. Hud, when he was here forever, was always our official scorer for baseball games and did a great job. But sometimes, I'll just say, hey man, I think that was a hit. Like, come on, it's college. This is a college baseball game. Like, if a big leaguer maybe you say should make that play, okay, but Guy hits the ball 105 miles an hour off the bat in a college game. He probably deserves a hit. You know,
That's fair.
so yeah, and sometimes I'll have some questions on fielders' choices because that rule can get a little bit, you know, conflicted about with some things being arbitrary in terms of scoring. Was the guy safe? Would he have been safe? Was he out? Those kinds of things like that. When a guy's safe on a fielder's choice, it actually can be dealer's choice on the score, whether he wants to give the guy an error or wants to give the guy a hit. You know, and my contention, it happened. Morales was on second, and Luke Waters hit a bullet up the middle that ended up being the shortstop caught like in between hops, kind of going up the middle, and Morales ran to third, and the guy, instead of throwing to first, tried to get Morales out at third. He made a good throw. He made a perfect throw. Morales just beat it. And so I'm looking up there, and I think we had one hit at the time, and I don't see anything. Like, I don't see an error. I don't see a hit. There's got to be something. You know, my through the years in scoring, I always thought if it was a fielder's choice, like let's say the shortstop catches the ball in the hole and tries to go to second for the force out and the runner beats it, you can give the guy a hit on that because that was his only play. He wasn't going to get the guy at first. His only play was the second, and the runner beat it. You can also call it a fielder's choice to not give him a hit. But I always think if he didn't have another play and that was his only play and it was a good throw and we just beat it, the hitter deserves a hit because he was going to get a hit if he didn't have another play. And so I think, you know, you usually want to look at it that way. So that's my, you know,
sometimes the reason he made that throw is that's the only throw he had because it would have been easy. Yeah, I think you're right on that play that the only real chance he had was going after Efren, who made an amazing slide.
Yeah, he did. And so sometimes that's just baseball, and it's just like to give a guy a fielder's choice on that. I always thought a fielder's choice needed to be an out. Yeah. And if a guy was safe, it needed to be a hit or an error, not a fielder's choice. That's the way I always look at it.
Because typically the fielder is going to choose to make the easier play, and if they can't make the easy play, then they probably couldn't have made the other play either.
Yeah, and if they can't make the easy play, usually they screwed something up. If they screwed it up, it's an error. If they didn't screw it up, then it should be a hit. So I don't think a fielder's choice when a guy's safe makes much sense to me from a scoring standpoint. I know that the error helps the pitcher. I'm not even sure what, in terms of scoring, what a fielder's choice does in terms of earned runs or unearned runs.
They still count as earned runs.
They do? Okay. Then you would like them to
why not give them a hit?
Yeah, then you'd rather. So an error is the only thing that doesn't count as an on the earned run then. So a hit or a fielder's choice, then it's irrelevant.
Yeah, Bo Cowan and I were going back and forth earlier in a direct message because he was asking about an earned run when the pitcher is the person that has the error. And I said, that's still an unearned run. Like, leader back to the pitcher, he throws over the first baseman's head. It's an unearned run, even though it's an E1. So, you know, if you're ever having problems on the mound, I guess you just chuck the ball over the first baseman's head and be like, oh, darn, sorry.
All your unearned runs.
Don't put that out there, Gary. That's bad juju, man. Like we don't need anybody thinking that.
Yes.
Pitchers have interesting fielding escapades anyway. Typically, as much as we work on it, but they do it. So, well, any other questions?
No, that was it. Bo had another question about who was left to play in the field on Sunday, and you answered that with just one, with Tanner being there.
Yeah, Shayla was the only one, and we debated putting him in there, and I was like, man, if we put him out there and Evan takes one off the hand or something, I couldn't even tell you who we'd put back there to catch. You know, maybe Edwards. Probably put Edwards.
I was going to say Kyle. That was my first
He'd
choice.
probably be typically your shortstop. So maybe the only one that's got a chance would be, hey, has anybody caught before?
Yeah, right.
So
maybe Brody, but he was out of the game.
Yeah, Brody's out of the game. Yeah, and yeah, so tomorrow night, hopefully, people over on the peninsula come out. I think it's supposed to be a good day tomorrow and this weekend, and it'd be nice to be back in our own beds this week.
Yeah, big game against VCU on Tuesday at War Memorial. That's still always the biggest rival for me, just from being in school 05 to 09. We had some crazy games with VCU. We were looking at Bo actually reminded me to go back and look through some of those old crazy games. In 09, my senior year, we beat VCU at the Diamond like 28-9 or something.
Wow.
And it was just I think we only scored in 4 innings of the game. So it's a big rivalry for a lot of that crowd. I think even the classes before me and a little ways afterwards always want to have some fun at VCU's expense.
Sure.
And then, of course, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at Harbor Park. Those will be good. I think everything's ESPN Plus this week, correct?
This weekend, yeah. The game, I was informed today, actually, our game tomorrow will not be streamed.
Okay.
So better get out there, people.
I don't know why, but it will not. So if you hear this and you want to see us, get out to War Memorial, and I'm not sure what's going on with that, but it won't be streamed, and we won't have a replay tomorrow, so it'll be old school.
Old school.
Hey, but you get to argue for a change because no replay.
There you go.
Might get some venting going on. Hey, speaking of replay, before I go, we won our first challenge of the year yesterday. So
We said that in the living room when it happened. We're like, Finney got one.
we're not gonna get shut out. Yeah, we can't lose them all now. And I asked that because I thought for sure he was safe, and he got called out.
Easy. Yeah.
We're going to challenge this. And I asked John Keene, he goes by Beans. And I said, Beans, have we won a challenge this year? He goes, nope. And so then the guy, they overturned it. And I was like, well, now we have. There you go. So.
All right. Got one in the win column for the challenges. I'll take it.
One in all the rest of them.
Yeah.
There haven't been a lot overturned this year either way. Like even on the other teams. No. I think they're going in there and colluding with each other. Like,
100%.
For the most part, unfortunately.
Absolutely.
They're deleting footage.
They give you the old, we didn't get a good look at it. The camera angle is bad.
I've had them walk by me before and say, all right, let's go in here and see that I'm right. Like,
yeah, there you go.
Cool, man.
Yeah. Old Silver Fox. Gotta love him.
All right, guys. Go Monarchs. Thank you for all y'all do.
Yeah, thank you, Coach. Go Monarchs.
All right,
go Monarchs.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we will have Evan Holman and a normal-sized CB.
This episode of the Monarchist Podcast is brought to you by the Pride of ODU Collective. Their mission is to elevate the experience of student-athletes through name, image, and likeness, while also elevating the fan experience. If you or your business are interested in getting involved, you can reach out to us directly or go over to theprideofodu.com. That is theprideofodu.com. Thank you for listening, and go Monarchs.
Welcome back, Monarch fans. Thank you for tuning in. For Coach Finwood there, obviously we're all pumped coming off the 3-1 week, but we are definitely excited to bring on Evan Holman, starting catcher for the Monarchs. Evan, thanks so much for joining.
For sure, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Well, you had a big day on Sunday, I think, to put it nicely. What, 3 for 3, 2 doubles and a grand slam? Not a bad day for someone who didn't start the game too.
No, certainly no.
Yeah, it was pretty great. Like I mentioned, you had, I think, coming into the week, a double and a homer, and for the week you had 3 doubles and a homer. Not too bad.
Yeah, no, that was a good week. Yeah, it turned out to be. Yeah.
Yeah. But were you doing anything different at the plate? Did the ball just look like a beach ball to you? Like what was going through your mind there to rack up stats like that?
I mean, that's one thing. I was seeing it well all week, but I've been consistently throughout the whole year, like trying to make adjustments and keep working on my swing and my mental approach. So it was good to kind of have some of that work out on Sunday and this whole week. So yeah.
Has that been different for you this year? Because I know last year, I like that you played 48 games. I started 48 games. I think you played 51. I mean, you were playing basically every game. And then this year, it's gone from Friday, Saturday to then maybe Tuesday and Friday, and then getting in possibly in late in games. So has there been a big adjustment between playing, basically every single game and then kind of having to pick your spots this year?
I mean, it's definitely an adjustment. It's not a big adjustment. It's the way I look at it, it's anytime I can make an impact on the game, like I'm ready to go. So like I'm locked in even when I'm down the bullpen. If I'm ready to go, and yeah, I'm just always waiting to get in.
And I know it's been a unique year with so many games on the road, and that kind of has its own version of wear and tear on guys. But are you feeling a little bit fresher in your legs, not having to do that? Even though I know there's a lot of other duties you're responsible for there, even if you're not playing.
I have noticed that there's been these last couple Mondays. Last year I was usually pretty banged up on Mondays, and usually I would just go sit in the ice bath for that was my work for the day. But these last couple Mondays I've been able to really hammer the weights and get in the cages and just keep working. So that's been good. That's been a solid, yeah.
Because there was
That's
some
got to be a
points.
big plus. Yeah, because you're seeing that you can go and put that work in. That was one thing I talked to Ryan Moore about when he was talking about his last year playing pro. He
Mhm.
was so injured that it was taking all his energy and time recovering that he couldn't get better. So you saying that you could take time now to actually, like I said, hit the gym, hit the weights, hit the cage, and improve yourself. That's got to be a nice thing.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Because there were some games last year, man. I mean, you get hit by a pitch 2 or 3 times in a weekend, take like a
Yeah.
half dozen foul balls, a bat to the back of the head. So imagine just like you're maybe not getting as many of those things now as you were, even though you're catching some bullpens and stuff during
For
games.
sure. Yeah, definitely not as many.
Yeah.
There still is some days though where the next day I'm pretty banged up.
You just
You
have
caught one in the thigh the other day, didn't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that pretty much happens every game.
you just need a photo book of all the crazy, gigantic purple bruises you have.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
Oh,
One thing I noticed, and I'm not even sure when you did it, was sometime during the year here, but you switched from the kind of old style two-piece catcher's mask
Mhm.
to now the hockey style catcher's mask.
Yeah.
When exactly did you do that, and why?
Well, you guys know I was wearing the two-piece traditional mask all last year,
Mhm.
and then I switched over to the hockey mask pretty much the whole fall and preseason. I don't know if you noticed that, but I was
Maybe
wearing
I
a
didn't. I might have
yeah,
missed.
I was wearing a hockey mask most of the fall, and then the last couple inter squads in the spring, I went back to the two-piece, and then I started the year with the two-piece, and then it's just kind of like a feel thing, and the hockey mask is definitely safer. Just like from what I've seen and what I've read about it, and it just covers more, and like the more protection you have from getting hit on backswings or
Yeah.
weird foul tips and stuff is good. So, and I know Slater will agree with me on this. I think you can see better out of the hockey mask too.
You got the side vents.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I remember when Charlie O'Brien in the '90s, he basically created those, and I remember it being a big deal. It was so unique. He was the only guy in the big leagues wearing them. He did with the
yeah,
Braves, and I think it was the Blue Jays might have been when we started wearing them.
yeah.
And then here we are, 25, almost 30 years later, and it's like you don't see a youth game anymore where somebody's even using the other style.
No, I think where I think they really got popular was probably Yadier Molina
Hmm.
mhm.
because
Yeah,
he just his whole career he wore a hockey mask,
yeah,
and a lot of guys were still wearing the two-piece masks.
and
Yeah,
everybody wanted to be Yachty.
of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Who was he? Was he your catcher? Like, who was your catcher idol growing up?
Um, I'm a Seattle Mariners guy,
Hmm.
so growing up, I
Big Scott
mean,
Cervais guy.
they didn't when I was growing up, it was like Mike Zunino, but
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The Mariners didn't really have they didn't
Mhm.
have the Cal Raleigh they have now, so
Mhm.
it was Mike Zunino and then obviously Adley but
Yeah.
now I love watching Cal Raleigh catch.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
The big dumper.
Oh yeah, whenever I get a chance, I turn on Mariners games. Yeah,
What do you think of that? I see he's like doing dumping for people at the game. If people don't know, that's Cal Raleigh. That's his nickname is the big dumper. And I
yeah,
guess now they have like promotions where he's like dumping people at ball games. Like if someone wants to break up with their significant other.
I think it's hilarious. Yeah, that's awesome.
I mean,
Is that how
if you can do the engagement photos and you can do the "Will you marry me?" Like you should be able to do the other side of that too. Like, hey,
Yeah,
thanks for coming to the game. It's the 6th inning. We're not going home together. Sorry.
yeah, that's awesome.
I hate the wedding proposal of the game. I'd be so hyped to see the big dumper take somebody out. That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
Oh, Well, you've got a number of different pitchers this year. I know you're typically kind of in there on Fridays with Ben and whoever's coming in behind him, but what have you seen kind of evolve from our pitching staff from the beginning of the season, maybe even in the fall to now? Like, is there anyone that's standing out to you as kind of really up in their game a little bit?
I mean, it's hard to not talk about Ben, Dylan, and Blake because they've been so good. And the three of them, like, they're so fun to catch. And every time you go out there, it's a privilege to like get to work with them. Um, but I think just the staff as a whole, we've seen improvement from all the guys, bullpen guys kind of finding their roles and guys kind of developing conviction behind their pitches and getting in the right headspace. So it's been awesome to see the bullpen on the weekends develop and turn into something good.
And I wanted to ask you this or someone catching in college about the pitch comm and how that works. Because you've got
Yeah.
the piece, you've got the wrist, you've got all that. Like, take us through the process of how that actually works when pitches are getting called and how you and the pitcher are working to relay those.
So how we do it, we have Marin in the dugout calling pitches, and then everyone on the field is wearing they honestly look like this. They just look like an Apple Watch. And everyone on the field has them, and they're relaying the pitch to everyone, and then it's really quick. Like that's basically all it is. As soon as I throw the ball back, they call in the pitch, and then we're ready to go. That's pretty much all it is. And then I have the earpiece in too, and if there's like a pitch that they thought was a strike and the ump called it a ball, and they can talk to me through the earpiece and ask me where it was, and then I can communicate back with them. Or if they want me to go take a mound visit, something like that, they can talk to me through the earpiece too. But all the pitch calling comes through our wristwatches. Yeah.
Does the
Is it
umpire
like
ever overhear that in your ear? Is he ever like,
I hope
Marin's
not.
like,
I
where
hope
was
not. No.
Marin's
I
like,
bet
where was this guy sucks? And you're like, hey man, I'm just here. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No. No.
they're going to send you out there with like actual speaker on the back of your belt that you don't know about and just Marin barking at the umpires?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
Is it just me, or does the wrist thing run out of battery like every single game during the game at some point? It seems
Yeah,
like
they do. They'll run out of battery, or me and Slate multiple times we've either blocked a ball and it's hit the screen and shattered it, or
ooh.
I've had it happen a couple times, plays at the plate where I get cleats or knees or guys sliding into me, and that's broken it too. So I'll have to go in there and get a new one. But yeah, we definitely go through those.
I did not
Yeah.
know about the breaking. I hadn't even thought about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
here you go. There's some work. Look at this guy.
man, I gotta get the glove down. Look at that.
No, it was coming up. You did good. It was
Yeah.
coming up. You got
Yeah.
up right off your chest. I think the next picture was just going off your chest protector.
Yeah.
That was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've been catching your entire life. I mean, did you ever play other positions, or how'd you start catching?
I started catching 8th grade is when I really started catching. I played shortstop up until then, and then I got into high school and all I did was catch. Yeah, pitched a little in coming up in middle school and stuff, but yeah, really once I got into high school, I caught for all of my high school career, and then I think I played 20 something games at third base my freshman year of junior college. But yeah, here just catching. Yep.
When you were pitching, man, what was the pitch selection like? You got like a nasty breaking ball, sinker? Like, what were you working with?
Well, yeah. If you ask Slate, he'll tell you because we're playing catch every day, and he knows my pitch arsenal. But I was a big Sports Illustrated guy growing up, and there was a Sports Illustrated article on Taiwan Walker when he was with the Mariners, and his knuckle curve, where he spiked this finger, and so I started throwing that in like 7th, 8th grade, and that was like my bread and butter. That was awesome. Yeah.
Oh, if there's ever a situation where we need a position player on the mound, I've got to see the knuckle curve. I want to see what that does on TrackMan.
Yeah. I think I don't know if I would be first. I think probably Eddie would be first. the
Yeah.
first position player to get an opportunity. I've heard he's pretty good up there.
Yeah, Shadell was a pretty good pitcher in high school.
Oh, I bet. Yeah,
Yeah,
I bet Zadalis could probably run it up there too.
yeah.
He's got a good arm.
We got a few guys who I think would be
Yeah.
okay at it.
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, because the
Yeah,
white
we-
whale
we-
was Kenny Lavari. We didn't get to
Yeah.
see him pitch, and he was throwing like 96, 97 last year.
I know. Catching him in the fall was interesting because you don't expect it because you see him throw from third, and I mean he looks like an infielder with a good arm, and then he gets on the mound and it was firm.
Pop the mitt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got the dry hump on that for 4 straight years.
Yeah. Seriously.
So, so Evan, you're from? And I can you say the name of the state you're from? Because I feel like I always mispronounce it.
Oregon?
Oh, you actually said the way as Oregon. That's how I would say.
Yeah.
I always hear like Oregon.
No, Oregon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oregon.
All right, so you're an Oregonian telling me the right way to say it. I love it. All right, so
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
do you end up at ODU from Oregon? How does that happen?
Well, out of high school, I mean, just going back, I didn't play travel ball in high school, and I played soccer and basketball all 4 years of high school and baseball. So I wasn't like super focused. I mean, I was very focused on baseball, obviously. I knew that was my sport, but like I wasn't really traveling around or getting recruited or anything big like that. So I went to junior college out of high school up in Bellevue, Washington, in the NWAC in that conference, and that's where the ODU coaching staff saw me out there. And then I came out here and visited and loved it, and yeah, ended up out here, and it's been awesome.
And I heard you were actually a pretty damn good soccer player too at that.
I mean, I enjoyed it. Yeah, it was awesome. Those are some of my favorite memories with my boys back in high school. Yeah.
What position did you play in soccer?
I was always defense, usually left back, or
Okay.
senior year I played center back too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. From what I understand, pretty tough back there on that back line.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
See it.
Yeah.
Guys he's always playing defense and keeping the ball
Yeah.
from going behind him. That's
I was a
life
few
story.
pounds lighter though.
Well, it makes
all
sense.
muscle,
You gotta run all that, so it makes sense. You
I
gotta
had to
bulk
run
up a little bit.
more. Yeah.
Is it? Do you drop a ton of weight during the season? I know some catchers do that quite a bit. Not on purpose.
Last year I did, but I've done a much better job this year. You got to eat 4 or 5 meals a day, and you got to just keep pounding protein and getting it in pregame, postgame. So that was one of my goals this year, was to be better about maintaining my weight and keeping that up. Yeah, because obviously it's a long season, and especially this year on the road, that's a big factor. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're basically
No,
playing
Gary, it's
56
funny
football games.
it's funny you asked that because like the first day of the season we're down there at Georgia Tech and Evan's like housing this bottle of this like weird colored liquid and he's like, this is my protein shake. He's like, I'm just pounding this all the time. He's like, it's got I can't lose all that weight. I lost too much weight last year. And so I just laughed when you asked that because like that's been a big focus for Evan this year.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I do that as I'm drinking beers on like Friday and Saturday. I'm like, oh, I gotta make sure I don't lose this weight. Yeah, come on.
I've been bulking up for a while now. I'm pretty good at it.
Yeah, longest bulk phase ever.
No shred, all bulk.
Yes.
So Mariners guy growing up, right? I mean, you gotta believe Ichiro's gotta be like one of your like all-time favorites, right?
Oh yeah. Ichiro, Ken Griffey, yeah.
Got Randy Johnson in there too.
Yeah, Randy Johnson.
Yeah. Was Randy Johnson even there when you were alive? I don't think he was he?
I don't think. No, not that. No.
I mean, I'm sure you got memories of it. Yeah, I mean, sure, I love Hank Aaron, but he wasn't alive. You know, when I was, or he wasn't playing when I was alive, right?
Yeah.
Thanks for the reminder that I'm much older than Evan. Appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean,
I got traded to the Astros. Like, what happened?
Right.
I don't know if you guys remember the name, but Corey Seager's brother. Kyle Seager was a big one for me. I loved watching him. And Robinson Cano when he was there.
Yeah, Robbie Cano, yeah.
Yeah.
See, this is fun for me because like all like Cano and Seager and Zunino, I saw those guys play in the minor league, so it's fun to get to be big stars. And I got to meet Ichiro when he was with the Marlins down in spring training, and that was like I've met a lot of ball players, and that was one where I was like, I am starstruck. Like, this is Ichiro. Like, that was a whole nother level. Yeah.
Yeah. That's real cool.
Yeah, well, we're asking all the guys when they come on. I think most importantly, like, who all is in your baseball house this season? We're trying to get a judge on who has the best house.
Okay. I only have 2 roommates. I have F and Rocky, Efrain and Rocky.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, you might win just on F alone there, I think.
Yeah.
I know.
I
Yeah,
remember when F said that.
we have a great house. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, F said that. I think it was the last week we had F on.
Yeah.
He said with Evan, I was like, yeah, that's a pretty good. And then Rocky's a great kid too.
Yeah,
It's
he's
a
awesome.
pretty good house.
Yep. Yep.
Awesome. And I don't think you're a big video game guy, but we're going to ask the question anyway because we're asking everyone. If you were to have a player in like MLB The Show or the college baseball version of that, what's your overall rating? And then what like stat category would you spike in? Like contact
Ooh.
versus lefties, power versus righties. So overall and your best attribute there.
Okay, well, let's see. I'm not a big video game guy. I gotta be, I don't know, in the low 80s, right? Something like
You're
that.
humble.
Low 80s is like the safe range for guys who want to be realistic and don't want to be arrogant. I like it. We get a lot of like 82, 83s out of the guys who are like, I'm trying to keep it real. So I
Yeah.
like this is very Evan Holman to me. This is just like a blue collar answer from a blue collar hardworking guy.
Something
Yeah.
like that. And then category, I'd probably say contact versus, I mean, either. Like, I've always been really good bat to ball, and for me, it's kind of just been adding the plate discipline to that. Because, like, with 2 strikes, I know I can hit the ball wherever it is, but I don't need to hit it if it's a ball.
Yeah. I know
I'm going defense 99 on him. I usually don't chime in and give somebody, but I'm going defense 99 on Evan.
Okay, all right. I'll take that. Yeah,
I'll be confident for you. We're going to talk you up. No, Evan, you're an awesome guy, man. I get to meet a lot of wonderful people through ODU, and you're top of the class, man. Like your parents are amazing people. They did a wonderful job with you. You're everything we want out of a Monarch, man. Just thanks for being here. Thanks for choosing us, and thanks for showing up every day and making us proud, man.
Yeah, of course. A lot of credit to my parents. I'm thankful for them, and I'm sure my dad will be watching this. So I love you, and shout out, Dad. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to actually spend some time with them before the Saturday game against Troy. We were kind of all over at Waterside, hanging out and chatting, and just awesome people, and everything just kind of makes sense. So
Yeah. Well, thank
Awesome.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Evan, thanks so much for joining us, man. And we know it's a short week. You had a lot of travel last night, so we really appreciate your time. But awesome having you on.
For sure. Yeah. Thank you guys for having me. Looking forward to the rest of the year and getting going. Yeah.
Yeah. Mom's bringing some cookies tomorrow night, so you guys get some fuel.
Awesome. Yeah. Between innings, that's where it's at. Yeah.
What's up?
All right. Thanks so much, Evan.
Yeah. Thank you.
I appreciate you, man. Take care. Good kid, man. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of him. That's a guy I just always, sometimes you go to the ballpark and you're like, okay, I gotta make sure I find certain guys and talk to him for a little bit. And Evan's always one of those guys. You gotta, and again, you see there, he's not the most talkative guy. I mean, he wasn't, he wasn't giving us super verbose answers in every one of those, but he's just a genuinely good guy. And he is really humble and hardworking.
Well, we're coming off of F and Zach late, so I think Evan's just more like in like the normal baseball category.
Right?
Those guys
Yeah.
love talking. We love having them on too. But definitely shout out to all the parents. I know a lot of the parents listen to these games on like Thursday when they're traveling down for like a Friday series or Wednesday before. So appreciate all the support there, and the Telegram group is always very entertaining and fun. Just all the hospitality too. Anytime I feel like there's a game going on, somebody's got to tailgate, someone's got to meet up for everybody to come through. So greatly appreciate getting to be a little part of that puzzle.
Yeah, and we have such good people on the team, and the reason is their parents. They were raised right. I mean, that's the reality. Is we just have really good kids who were raised by really good people, and they think and act and treat people the right way. And it's what you want to see. I mean, you don't want to have a team full of buttheads. I think even I wouldn't care if we were like undefeated for the whole year if it was just like, man, these guys suck to be around. Like that would not be fun. So I love that having just a great bunch of guys. It's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Evan's so polite; he just kept hanging around. We had to tell him to leave.
Yeah, I would have felt bad if he's stuck on there. I'm sure he has much more important things to do than listen to us
No,
talk
I know. I'm
about
sure he's got
ball.
to go do anything other than listen to two old guys talk on a podcast.
Yeah, I mean, getting back at what, like 3:30,
Yeah,
4 in the
right.
morning. I mean, guy just probably needs dinner and a nap.
That's
So
why it's good to be like whatever 21 or 22, whatever he is, and yeah, I'm sure his body bounces back. Like you and I would be out for a week and a half.
yeah, I mean, I didn't do half of the physical stuff that Evan did over the last couple days, and I'm just gassed. And I was
Right?
basically
Yeah,
walking
yeah,
around and drinking and eating and doing all that all
yeah.
weekend.
And just having
So
a great weekend. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm like limping around the house because apparently I stood wrong on one leg for too long. And he's
Right.
getting
That's
crushed,
that's.
getting crushed with a foul ball in the knee, and he's like,
Uh
I'm
huh.
good. I'll play. I don't have a
Yeah.
grand slam.
I twisted my knee the other day just getting out of the car, and I'm like, how did I do that? And because I'm just old and everything's falling apart. So
Yeah.
before I turn to dust, let's talk about our players of the week, man.
Oh yes. And it was tough
Yeah,
this week, man.
this was. I'll be honest. It was tough. Yeah, and sometimes it's tough because nobody was good, and this wasn't one of those weeks. Because I think we go into it. I try to look at the stats and kind of give it to both of us so we can kind of pick together. And my first instinct was go with Evan, just based off of just yesterday. You get 3 hits, you have two doubles, a grand slam. I mean, for the week, Evan was 4 for 8, 3 doubles, a grand slam, 6 RBIs, got hit by a pitch, had a sacrifice bunt. That's an awesome week.
Yeah.
Uh, Kanan George had a better week. And consistently, because Cannon played in all 4 games. He had hits in all 4 games. He was 8 for 18, had a double, a homer, 8 RBIs, a walk, a hit by pitch, and 3 steals. He's actually second on the team with 6 steals now. And so, I mean, Cannon had an awesome week. Efren Morales, nice little 4 for 15, double, 4 RBIs, had a sac fly. Kyle Edwards, another solid week, 6 for 16, a double, 4 RBIs, 2 walks, 5 stolen bases for Kyle this week. He was enjoying that Norfolk State game. He was excited about that one. TJ, very quiet, nice week. He was 5 for 15, 2 doubles, 3 RBIs, had 7 walks. He's actually leading the team with 22 walks now. So
Yes.
the hitters again, it's nice because we had some weeks where it's like, well, we got to pick one of these guys, and this week it was like, man, we got a whole list of guys we could choose from.
Yeah, it was tough. My initial gut was to go with Holman because of how
Yeah,
well he played on Sunday, just like you
yeah,
said. It was tough, but I think Kane and George kind of turning a corner. I think a little bit this week offensively, seeing much better at bats, getting the ball in play. But our guys being a little bit more patient with those quality at bats was huge this week. Taking those free passes, putting the ball in play, doing all the right things. We kind of waiting for that offense to click, and yeah, it was good. So congrats, Kane and George.
yeah.
Big week, man.
That's
3
I think
bags
it's
too.
second. Yeah, I think it's the second time. We'll have to at the end of the year kind of put all these together and show all the players of the week. I think that's at least the Kanan's second time.
Yeah.
And Dylan, this is his third, maybe fourth out of 9 weeks. Dylan had a great start. We didn't win that game, which is upsetting, but 5 innings, 1 earned run, 4 hits, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. One of his worst good starts. Is that the way you say it? Like
Yeah.
it was a good start, but not his best good start. Um, but we had guys had a great. I mean, Ben Moore. It was to me kind of neck and neck. 5 innings, 2 earned runs, 3 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, and got the win. I mean, so just that 1 earned run was really what kind of did it. But it was one of Ben's. Ben's had 2 really great starts, and they've both been the ones he's gone 5 innings. So if he can keep being a little more economical with his pitches, I mean, it's great. And then Jace Park had a great start in the midweek. 3 innings, he gave up 1 unearned run, 4 hits, no walks, 4 strikeouts in 3 innings. So that's a great midweek start. And then Bailey he got a save, 2 1/3 innings, did give up 2 earned runs, 1 hit, 3 walks, struck out 2. So it's not his best appearances, but he held down a save. He had a save in the one game and then held the win in the other game. So another great week for Bailey. So yeah, it's fun when you actually get to have a hard time picking who's the best out of guys that actually played well.
Yeah, and it's tough not to give it to Bailey there because of how tough he
Yeah,
was on Sunday to
yeah,
stay in there. I mean, for a reliever to basically work 2 1/3 innings, throwing Friday and Sunday, so he was very close in second there, just on toughness alone, if nothing else, to stay in there knowing that I don't know what else is in the bullpen, what Coach Finwood would have been able to do. We might have seen Eddie, we might have seen Evan had to
yeah,
swap positions and go pitch, but they put it together, held it in, got the win, got the series win. At the end of the day, that's the most important thing. A tough team won a weekend series.
It was huge. I mean, it's a big, like I said, winning 4 last 5, winning a road series. It's big, and you hope it's what you've been kind of hoping all year. You said, okay, it's been tough. It's been tough. It's been tough. We've been on the road. If all this played those really good teams, our RPI is 75. I mean, we're what 12-21, and our RPI is 75. Like that doesn't happen. Usually, you're 12-21, your RPI is like 240. So it's impressive what they've been able to do, and you're hoping they're turning a corner. We're playing VCU tomorrow night, Tuesday night, I guess tonight, probably if you're hearing this on Tuesday. They have not been great this year. What was their record again? It was kind of like ours, honestly, 11-24. Yeah, 5-10 in conference. I mean, their record is not that dissimilar from ours. And you look at their hitting stats and their pitching stats, they're not dissimilar from ours. So, it's on paper, it's like, well, we should, it's a pretty even game, and they played some top 25 teams. It's not like they haven't had some good competition, but this is a team that you should be able to beat. You've beaten much better teams. Playing Louisiana, again, Louisiana looked like they were going to be like, top of the conference, and they have not been. And again, this is a team that, you got them at home, you're in the same city in a way. And you get to sleep in your own beds. It's a plus, and they don't. And so you hope, you can, again, you'd like to win the series. What you really like to do is sweep the series. It may be, it's not easy. It's never easy, but hey, we got if our weekend starters are doing that, and if Jace Park can keep getting even better on the weekdays, and some of these relievers can keep moving in the right direction, man, we got some stuff. And then the hitting, again, if the hitting just hits, that's been, I think, the bigger problem all year is the hitters weren't hitting, and now they're doing some stuff.
Yeah, I mean, putting up 15 runs, they showed they can hit. Yeah. And I think we've been waiting for the offense to come together like that all season. Like I think they were fighting to get to the bat rack. They were not looking down the line for the next guy to kind of get the hit to get it going. They wanted the bat. They wanted to go do it themselves. We've been waiting for that like aggressive mentality to go attack all season. So I'm hoping that's just the start of something new. But the VCU game, it reminds me of us when we were talking about William and Mary, where on paper we should beat them. We've got a ton of talent. We've got all of this, and then we went out there and just kind of laid an egg at William and Mary. VCU will undoubtedly be up for this game. I think there's some cool nostalgia to them playing this game at War Memorial. Like that's kind of a cool little throwback. So I know for a couple of years, the Key Dog Classic there. They'll be amped for it. So I'd love to see Jace Park get another great outing. Some of those other guys in the bullpen step up because we need a couple more bullpen arms if we want to be realistic about the tournament. We're in a great shape with starting pitching. If Ben's good, Dylan's good, and Blake's good, like we got 3 legit starters. There aren't a lot of teams that have 3 legit starters, but as we saw on Saturday, you've got to have some good arms that aren't named Kellen and Bailey to get you out of there. So opportunities for dudes to step up. I like the way we match up a little bit against Louisiana. I think Coach Finwood mentioned it last week, but they do have a lot of left-handed hitters, and that's actually a strength for our pitchers is throwing against lefties. So I like to see that come through. If they win this series, we're 9-9. If we sweep the series, we're 10-8. There's a big difference between those two numbers if you go look at the standings.
Yeah, it is wild how big the one win can really, because it's not just one win, it's one loss. It's that big. It really is a 2-game switch either time.
Yeah, and Louisiana's 8-7 right now in the conference, and they're tied for 5th. We're 7-8, and I guess technically tied for 7th is where that is.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, but I think that this weekend series with Louisiana is kind of a good litmus test of like where are we going to be, because it's going to be kind of hard to get a judge off ULM and off Marshall and off of JMU. And then we'll have top of the conference team right now, Coastal, to end it. I think this weekend could change if I just go ahead and start booking some hotels in Montgomery. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, you hope. You hope you come out again. You get to play at home. I know the last time a couple weeks ago we were here had a ton of ODU fans, ton of ODU alumni. A little weirder this time with a Thursday night, Friday afternoon, and then a Saturday afternoon. So hopefully we can still get some good crowd. I know I'm going to miss most of the game Friday. I'll be there hopefully the last few innings on Friday. But hopefully we get good crowds and people come out and we get the same. We have a ton of alumni out there, and hopefully we have a lot of that. And just again, these guys getting people actually rooting for them instead of always against them is nice.
I was secretly hoping we get some sort of announcement that the Friday game got moved to 6. or 7 or something. I don't think it's going to happen, but
Finney it'd be more the opposite, that the Thursday game would get moved to 3. That's the way Finney has been wanting to go every time I talk to him. And I'm trying to he goes yeah, we're not winning the night games. We got to play the day games. I'm like, yeah, 6:00 is you get more people at the ballpark. I'm trying to not to say very selfishly, I can't go, man. Come on.
yeah, I think I'm in the same boat. I will likely be Thursday, and that's it, just down and back on Thursday. I wish I could go to the game Tuesday down at War Memorial. Not in the cards for me, but Fox Sports 1310 will have the radio broadcast. Don't quote me on this. Don't throw me under the bus. I think you can listen to that through the 94.1 ESPN radio app. If not, there will be a link at ODU Sports on the schedule. I'm looking at it right now, so if someone takes it off there in the next few minutes, I'll be aggravated. But right now there is an audio link that's there. So listen, if you can't get over to War Memorial, definitely listen to the game.
But get over Memorial, because I'm doing it. I'm leaving work at 5 and crossing that bridge. So if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Get over there. We need one of those teleporter things. Just get everyone to go meet at Harbor Park. And
that's one of the reasons I don't go to as many Pilots games during the summer. I'd love to go to a lot of Pilots games. Sometimes it's just man, it's summer traffic, and trying to get there from 5 o'clock, even for a 7 o'clock game, it's I can't spend an hour and a half in traffic. So hopefully it's not that bad tomorrow. We'll or it's on Thursday, whatever day. No, it's tomorrow. I don't know what day it is.
It's on Tuesday.
It's ODU's winning ball games. 4 of the last 5. We're doing great.
Yeah, I had a bit of a weird meta moment on Saturday night. I'm sitting at a bar in Tampa, and I'm looking up. They got SportsCenter on one of the TVs. It's 11:30, 12 o'clock. And I look up and I see JMU's field. I'm like, oh no, don't ruin my day. I don't want to see this. But it was actually Jacob Wax from Troy, their stud defensive shortstop. They got the number 1 play on SportsCenter, catching a ball in shallow left field. No idea how he caught it. He ran from shortstop. He overran it. He bent himself backwards to catch it. So then I felt better because it was Troy's top play. I don't think we talked about it last week, but he made a play on a ball up the middle. That's one of the best plays I've ever seen a shortstop make. It was a chopper up the middle. It chopped off the bag. He caught it in throwing motion, barehanded, and threw it to first.
Yeah. I think he was showing off. He didn't need to do all that, frankly. That's how I felt about that play.
Probably didn't, but man,
what? It was phenomenal.
He stole a couple runs from us in that game on Saturday there. So, it was kind of weird looking up, seeing that. And the bartender's like, who the hell is Troy and JMU?
Right.
I'm like, well, I just saw that kid play last weekend. He's a freaking stud. So number 1 play on SportsCenter. But I think that gives you an idea of the eyes that are on the Sun Belt right now and how strong the conference is, where you've got teams that could potentially make the tournament, and they're 19 and 16 right now. It's a tough league, man. It's really tough.
Yeah. You got a team that's 12 and 21 that can make the tournament. They just got to do some stuff.
I mean, just need to make a little run in the tournament. I mean, we've got this pitching. If we can score 15 runs at Georgia Southern, I feel pretty good about our offense. Just got to keep that up. We got to come out and hit the ball again on Friday, because I think that's what kind of got everything going, was that confidence build on Friday to get ahead and go fight and win.
All right, let's do it. I'm excited. Get to watch some games this week. It's always fun. So that's all I got, Gary. Let's get out of here. Let's let the people go and probably watch a ball game. They're just pulling up to the park right now. I'm gonna believe
it could be. The curtain fell at 25.50.
Oh, did it fell?
Just the corner. Just the corner.
Oh, look at that.
I saw it 25.50. So, all right, that'll do it for us. Go Monarchs.
Go Monarchs.